Straight Talk, as you all know, it comes your way every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Talking about current affairs in our country, talking about issues of national development, bringing ideas, bringing thought, provoking discussion on issues that affect us as a country. You are free to call when the lines are open to give your input, give your opinion. We don't insult, we just want to speak civil to each other, speak truth to ourselves, speak truth to power, talk straight for the well-being of our beloved country, the Gambia. In the studio with me is obviously Mr. Nyang Njie. Mr. Nyang Njie, welcome once again to Straight Talk.
Thank you, Mr. Njie, and good evening, listeners, wherever you are. It's a great afternoon and a great evening, and we have a lot to say and a lot to discuss and engage the public.
Indeed. And we have DJ Bombastic on the controls, as usual. Bombastic, thank you very much for continuing to support what we do here on West Coast, and obviously kudos to Peter Gomez that has given us this platform. Now let's talk corruption and the fight against corruption. I know all over the media the talk has been the issue of KMC. I am a bit conflicted because I have been in between trying to find out what the issues are. But we want to discuss this in a very matured way, have a frank discussion. How do we tackle such issues? What is the role of the public? What is the role maybe of civil society? What is our role as, what is the role of us, the citizens? This is KMC, us, the residents of the municipality. What can we do? How can we ensure that the right thing is done? This is the discussion that we must have as Gambians. How do we together fight corruption? Mr. Njie, let's look at the issues surrounding KMC. I have a lot of my thoughts on what is happening, but I am looking at it from a perspective of the legality of issues, the morality of issues, the willingness, political will, as it were, to fight corruption. So we have a case where somebody has confessed in the municipality or written and owned up to the responsibility that I have done wrong. And the municipal authority has taken a particular action to send her on leave. I think that is important for us to state. She has not been suspended, she has not been fired or terminated. She was sent on administrative leave so that
pending the
outcome of the investigation. On the other hand, you have a ministry of regional government and lands that says the procedure, the process, rule of law has not been followed, so you have to rescind the decision. Now, I think you know, from the look of things, both sides have a legal understanding of how things should go. But in this case, obviously, I'm sure Gambians abhor the use of force. What are the things what are the issues you see in this KMC saga? How do we move forward as a nation?
Thank you, Mr. Njie. First of all, I want to see a thorough investigation of all parties and the institution called the KMC. Independent investigation, for that matter. An investigation that's not led by the Ministry of Lands, an investigation that's not led by the KMC. That I want to see first and foremost.
An investigation led by?
I want an independent investigation that's not led by the KMC or the Minister of Lands, because they're both conflicted.
Okay, all right.
And we want to see and get to the bottom of this whole thing. That's number one. Number two, there is an issue of representation. even though it may not be in the books, because Jammeh did what he wanted to suit him, but not suit the electorate of the Gambia, particularly KMC on this matter. Why am I saying this? The mayor is an elected officer. An elected officer is accountable to the people with the voter's card that went to the line and voted for him. So if anything goes with the funds that are bestowed under his responsibility, the responsibility will not fall on the minister, but the mayor. And the electorate will deal with the mayor come day of election or whatever. Therefore, accountability at its highest lies on the mayor. I believe, as bad as the law is, morality, logic would have dictated this issue is a criminal. It has some criminal element. Fraud. Alleged criminal element, fraud. Let the police come in. At the same time, we have a National Audit Office or even an independent audit firm to come in and look at the whole transaction. This goes beyond KMC. We should even query the bank. Why should we query the bank? When you're opening a bank account for individuals, there are documents needed. When you're opening a bank account for an institution and or organization, there are documents and signatures needed. So we want to know.
No, I think when it comes to opening, the bank account was opened in the name of the Staff Association. So what happened, the loan went into the Staff Association account, to which the CEO is not a signatory. Now,
but did the staff authorize that loan?
Well, that is the problem.
No, if this, because allow me to come in. If an organization, let's say a company, is looking for a loan, there should be a board resolution.
Yes, exactly. This is where your question is very relevant. That the bank,
there is what you call compliance.
The bank did not demand for a council resolution for the guarantee.
They should have
they did not have
because there is what you call corporate governance, and also you have what you call banking rules. The reason they're doing this is to avoid money laundering, fraud, etc., etc. So the central bank, as far as I'm concerned, they need to query the bank. Is this a normal practice or was this an oversight? If it's a normal practice, the bank need to change. I don't know which bank it was. They need to change because such a thing goes against the grain of good governance.
Indeed.
Then back to the issue of KMC and the local government. There is what you call devolution of powers. What does this mean? Good countries have governments bottom up. You empower people at the lowest levels of government, municipalities and local authorities. And that way, the citizenry will have a say in the way they are governed. But if you centralize power at the top, that's why you have apathy in Gambia, because the citizens are not fully involved. Things happen top and filtered down. That's wrong. It should come from the bottom and goes up, and that's what good leadership is all about.
Indeed, because I remember that as far back as 2008, between 2008 and 2010, I used to work with this organization called Pro Advocacy Group.
I did.
We were doing a lot of work on the. There is a good document on decentralization.
Absolutely.
But there was a lack of a political will, and that was maybe to keep control. And I have said that now, after all this, we must begin to have a serious discussion on the decentralization program. But let's look at this now. The ministry is saying that due process was not followed. KMC is saying, well, this lady confessed to a crime. We have looked at, we have done our preliminary findings. We feel that she cannot remain in office. And that is good practice, that if somebody is being investigated, they move out of office and you investigate, they receive all their salary and allowances and everything.
It's called interdiction.
So, but now if the ministry is saying the decision must be rescinded and the woman goes back into office, my question is, what if at the end of the day, even if the woman should go back, What if at the end of the investigation, everything, this woman is found guilty? Will the ministry not look very...
This goes beyond the ministry. I believe the government at the highest level should have stepped in. Why? We want the government to be seen as intolerant to corruption and zero tolerance to issues of corruption. Having this lady back at work shows that corruption is not shunned or frowned upon. Because this lady came out willingly, voluntarily.
I agree.
I did this, it was in best practice, and it was poor judgment.
So how would you deal with the procedural error, as it were, that government is pushing? What should be government's response? These people, the KMC has done this against the law.
I believe this is an issue of politics. There's two issues here. There's politics playing, and at the same time, administrative procedure and best interest of the municipality is secondary.
Okay.
Politics, perception, where power lies. If the mayor is allowed to just get away with this in the eyes of the Ministry of Local Government, it's a plus and an empowerment to the mayor vis-a-vis public perception.
Yeah.
So therefore, the people who believe ultimate power lies with them are now flexing muscles and not looking at the issue. So that's why I said the issue has been politicized, and now it's like two elephants fighting, and who is the grass? We, the ordinary people who pay rates to KMC.
But it can be to the detriment of the government if it's a political move. People can see that the government is condoning corruption. There have been issues of corruption in central government, and not much has been done, allegations, not much has been done in investigating. So if you feel in government that you're showing and you want to clip the wings, as it were, of the KMC mayor, and that is politically prudent, it may just go against you, because the public perception would be that the government is covering up corruption.
We have the issue of the fertilizer agriculture.
Yeah.
Mute. Nothing.
Yeah.
We have the issue of the fisheries department. Nothing. Now this, nothing. And mind you, a few days ago, I was out at sea around 10, 11. I came across a fishing trawler with Hansen written on it. Guess what? At the skylight of Banjul, I can see the lights. I was between Jinak, Bara and Banjul. I can see the lights of Banjul and Cape Point. And guess what? The fishing trawler was trawling. And you know, I said, where is the Navy patrol? Why are these people so daring that they're doing it in broad view?
They don't have fuel.
No, it's not even about not having fuel. These people are so brazen because they know people are corruptible, and they have bought a lot of public officials. And this is to the detriment of the Gambian, and nothing is happening, and no one is saying anything about it. I really deplore what I saw that night.
You know, looking at, going back to the story and the issue of KMC, for me, I think there should be a way out. Even the aggrieved, or the lady in question, saying that she has to go back, you could go to the courts, because, you know, I think we need to know that we are a democratic society. These things, the rule of law is to prevail. Sometimes where there are gray areas in the law, all parties in this could resort to the courts.
Absolutely.
You know, because whether KMC feels that they are doing the right thing, I think there should be this thinking that let's first look at what the law says and appeal to the courts for redress. Secondly, in this matter, if KMC has gone ahead and, you know, sent this one on leave, and there is some legal justification in that, it's the mayor that approves the leave of the CEO. So does the mayor have a right to send her on leave, administrative leave? You know, the law should be looked into. But what I'm saying is, in the best interest of everybody, we need to come to a conclusion that there needs to be an independent investigation.
Absolutely.
Maybe have a commission, committee. No, but what I'm saying, just have something. No, wait.
Our history with commissions.
Wait, I'm just saying, call it whatever, an investigative panel, call it whatever. I know the ministry says they have inspectors, that they have a right to go in and inspect, but in the interest of fair play, right now, like you said, everybody seems to be conflicted. Can we appeal to have an independent body do an investigation, provide a report to the public, to the ministry, to the municipality, and let's map a way forward? I
think the best thing going forward is for the ministry to look at the interest of the greater good of society. The interest of the greater good of society is to protect the resources of the municipality and the staff. Okay. That's number one. How can that be done? In good faith, I don't think KMC has good faith in the ministry any longer. Yeah. Therefore, so what needs to happen, allow the police, the fraud squad, to come in and get technical backup from an audit firm or National Audit Office. Okay. Do a thorough investigation of everybody plus the institution. Okay. Not just the lady, everyone plus the institution. Once that is done, let a report be given, 1, to the Public Service Commission, 2, to the Ministry of Local Government, 3, to the municipality and Galga, and 4, avail it to the public. Okay. Then, an outcome should come, either prosecution or retention of that staff should she not be found wanting. Then society will see that government has done its best to protect the greater good. But right now, the government is fighting more for its staff than the resources of the greater good. Because the interest we have seen, let her go back to work. Are they talking about the alleged funds that have gone missing? Well, so the issue here is the staff more important than the greater goods resources? Well, but to be fair with the government is not saying let the lady just go back. They're saying let due process be followed. Absolutely. Whether rightly or wrongly, like I said, yes, let due process be followed. But if an investigation is going and you want the person being investigated to remain in office, that is very questionable. But a thought just crossed my mind, Mr. Njie. Did the Njie Commission miss an opportunity to have a thorough check on the KMC? No. It's what you call the scope of work. If they were, you cannot single-handedly pick the KMC. You can say municipalities and local government, and they will look at Kerawan Area Council, Brikama Area Council. But the scope of the commission... Yeah, but it could have been limited to KMC. No. If you had suspicions... What about Brikama? Things happen there. But here, but if you have suspicions that maybe some of the municipalities were abused by the former leader. Well, every institution in Gambia was abused by the dictator. But guess what? We have wasted so much resources, and we have realized it was an exercise in futility because we lack the political will. That's why Nyang Njie is allergic to the word commission. It's a waste of the taxpayers' money, because the people who are leading us are indifferent to the outcomes of those findings. So what we need to do going forward, investigate, prosecute. Then that way the public save their resources. Hundreds of millions have been put in commissions only for nothing to come out of it, and perpetrators and people who enable the looting of the state are back in office, doing what they were doing and even doing it better today. I love the Ghana, Sierra Leone. The practice in Ghana. No, Sierra Leone has an anti-corruption commission. Yeah. But Ghana has the Office of the Public Prosecutor. Yes. And he can look at any public servant, and if you are living above your means, you'll have to justify how you have gotten that kind of wealth to live the way you're living. And, you know, like you said, we are tired of commissions. Can't we just have a public prosecutor, anybody, and then have whistleblower protection? So that, I mean, public officials are put in the limelight. And anybody that does any corrupt thing, you know, I was talking to somebody recently. I said, honestly, if I had power in this country, I would introduce the death penalty for corruption, because it's very unfair. But what is lacking in the Gambia is commitment. Yeah. And commitment from the leadership. You see, you lead by example. Yeah. 35 million, how much was again? $35 million? Yeah. Dalasi? No one's whatever it was.
$35 million. Yeah, about $7 million or so. No
one spoke about that any longer. We've forgotten about it. The fisheries, like I said, the agriculture issue. It's very difficult to police others if you're not policing yourself. So really, I don't know how, but the issue of corruption is not a priority for this government, because I haven't seen any office at the lowest level or at the highest level being tackled for corruption, and we know that corruption is endemic and it has been mainstream in the public administration of this country.
I think you said it rightly, and I believe that the government should really take serious action, because this is a recipe for the downfall of any government, that once the people don't have trust in the way public officials handle the national wealth, then obviously people will lose confidence in the administration. Now, going forward, you know, I also said this when all this was happening, that sometimes maybe we the intellectuals are also a problem, because when things like this happen, I see a lot of people like trying to pitch one against the other and forcing the narrative that everything is political, rather than looking at both sides of the story and trying to make out a very logical, come up with a logical conclusion. Because if we that are literate and so-called intellectuals are not being guided in the way we approach issues, will that not also lead the masses astray?
Well, you have answered the question. An intellectual has nothing to do with reading books. An intellectual is someone who reads, understands, and uses a logical construct to come to a conclusion. But you cannot call yourself an intellectual and use emotional decisions in terms of coming up with a decision. That is wrong. So, unfortunately, a lot of people misconstrue the word intellectual. Having degrees don't make you an intellectual. An intellectual is someone with a probing mind.
This is
What Gambia has, we have literate people with degrees, but these literate people with degrees, most of them lack conscience.
But this is the issue, because if we that are literate and are able to read the law, interpret the law, or just read and understand the law, that means that we should be advocates of the law and remove emotions from the national.
But these emotions are driven by self-serving interests. People want their coupons, people want their positions, people want proximity to power. So therefore, it's conscience that's lacking in the Gambian, and the lack of conscience and dignity has made the lettered Gambia, the Gambian that went to school, especially at the higher level, to be dysfunctional and useless for society.
And because of this, are we not, because of this being sentimental, emotional, are we not moving the national discourse from the national interest to personal and political interest?
Unfortunately, 90% of things, you know, generally, human beings are self-serving. But human beings also ought to have conscience. And when conscience comes and it dictates your actions, you try not to do things that impinge on the greater good's interest. Therefore, whatever you are doing, don't look at you first. Look at society, because once you look at yourself, it becomes a zero-sum game. I'll give you an example. If you're corrupt, you steal all you want to steal. Build the nicest castle. Fence it even 14 meters high. When crime is coming, it's not going to jump your house. When the roads are bad, it's not going to jump your house. When the hospitals are bad, it's not going to jump your house. That's why the greater good's interest must always be factored in.
But you see, for those that commit these crimes and are corrupt and are wealthy, they always could buy the new cars and go to hospitals abroad. So sometimes their conscience is dead. I mean, you just forget that, well, I mean, the roads can be bad, I can buy a new car. forgetting that your brother or
well, they're stuck in traffic.
Well, exactly.
And that's also corruption.
And like you have rightly said, if there is chaos, if there is mayhem, they may most likely not escape.
Because they are not in a vacuum. We are in one boat called the Gambia, and this boat hasn't been sailing steady. Why? Because of corruption, and corruption has really impaired the development process and progress of the country.
The last question before we open the lines, Mr. Njie, have we become paranoid as a nation because of what the disaster that Jammeh has visited on our minds, that anytime we see a situation, what happens first before we even analyze the situation, we think back at what used to happen. Case in point is the police. They were there at KMC armed, and our first reaction was they were sent to enforce a certain directive. That is a narrative that one side is giving. The other side is saying, well, we didn't even know that the police were going there. The police went there on their own volition. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I was not there when the directive was given. So when we see this, is it that we have so little trust in government that when we see this, our first reaction is that they must have been sent by government?
Well, in the absence of credible information, the rumor mill thrives.
Okay.
When the rumor mill thrives, the rumor becomes the reality.
Okay.
Who is at fault? The government. In this case, if the Ministry of Local Government said they didn't call in the police, I will say I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay. But what the police should have done, they go into a premise that's already secured by municipal police. Yeah. To avoid tension, the police command should have called the mayor. Mayor, we have an oversight on national security and policing. Yeah. We are going to step in to make sure chaos doesn't ensue. And we have
intelligence that there is a possible...
We have intelligence that there may be issues, so we are coming. The mayor will tell his police, step down, allow the national police to step in. Then there is a transition. Now, the police, what they've done, coming up with a press release saying there was a potential, there was a credible information. That is probable cause, and probable cause is like a dirty drawers. So as far as I'm concerned, that is not a weapon good enough to convince the public. What would have convinced the public was prior knowledge of the mayor from the police. Then the public could not have said a word. Exactly. So that was a fumble, and I hope it will not repeat itself.
And again, as a follow-up from the letter on Friday from the ministry, that the full force of the law would be, obviously, if you see the police, it's like the full force of the law has come.
That's what the Frenchman will call fait accompli.
Well, Gambia, this is our nation. Let's talk truth to each other. There are ways to solve our problems, and we must be very serious about solving our problems. The lines are now open. The number to call is 446-1193. 446-1193. This is Straight Talk here on West Coast Radio from John Charles Njie and Mr. Nyang Njie. Please call and let's talk. We are talking about corruption. How do we together work as a nation to tackle and fight corruption? Good evening, caller, and welcome to Straight Talk.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You gentlemen are doing a very good work for the country.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For me, I am seeing the country moving from what I used to think was absurd to what is now utterly ridiculous. For two reasons. Why is our government, in fact this was the way the dictator works, that any time there is a crisis, even the institutional crisis, the first response of government is tear gas, buttons, and guns. Okay. Everybody in the government itself forgets about the rule of law or support. That's my first point. Okay. My second point is, I had a CEO giving an interview, And her excuse for coming to the parties was, he thinks he can be there to help the investigators to do a proper work. Now that's what I've thought. That is ridiculous. What is happening to the country?
Okay.
We said that the State Department or most Transparency International published a damning report about corruption in the Gambia.
Yeah. This
was an opportunity for government to at least show some responsibility. And they're acting like they don't just care. I don't agree with Nyang Njie on one issue. That is for a total investigation of the entire KNC. Why should that happen simply because it was caught? If that happens, any party who stays in any places you want to investigate it, you will have to say, investigate the whole department. That's going to be one step forward.
All right. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. But Mr. Njie, maybe the caller, just to maybe move a bit from the caller's point that Gambia is not moving forward. I think we are moving forward. In the days of dictatorship, you know, coming from a dictatorship and the days of dictatorship, I mean, we would have had arrests and,
but honestly,
you know, but I think
it's all about perspective. Gambia is not moving forward. Why is Gambia not?
No, but according to for the rule of law.
No, allow me. When we say Gambia is not moving forward, we deserve better than we are going. The pace we are moving forward. Look, no constitution 5 years after dictator. The people who stole, maimed, looted, killed are still walking freely. Therefore, Gambia is not moving forward. Now, is the Gambian electorate and citizenry more aware? My answer is yes. Are they more active in protecting their rights? My answer is yes.
So we are moving forward,
but we don't need that.
Yeah, but
allow me.
Mr. Njie, we have to make demands
let me
from our government for them to do the right thing.
Let me finish. We don't eat that. What we are saying is our government is not doing enough to alleviate the plight of the poor, to alleviate the plight of the farmer, the plight of the student, and the plight of the sick, and the plight of the infrastructure of this country. Moving from Serekunda Westfield to Serekunda Market will now take you 45 minutes.
Okay.
What is wrong?
But in the area where we are free, we could make demands, we could put pressure on government. Because you see, I think, I keep telling people, democracy is quite a messy and difficult process. I'm not satisfied with the pace that we are moving in, but if people can put pressure and the police can withdraw, if people can put pressure and the government can have a rethink of a prior decision they wanted to take, that for me, I think is progress.
I want to tell you one thing. Dictators are not made. They're not born, but they are made. Gambia will never again make a dictator, and that's why we're protecting the thought we have gained.
And we have to keep doing that. Good evening, caller, and welcome to Straight Talk.
Yes, my contribution is Gambia is moving forward. I believe Mr. Njie sometimes is very happy.
Okay.
You're very critical of the right. But let him understand. He also had a time somewhere. He didn't take 100%. And then he does a lot and he contributes positively. But I think we all have to come together and tell him what Sarah is saying. And we will try and take a more positive way.
All right, thank you. Well,
thank you, Paula.
Like you
I take it in good faith.
It's perspective.
No, I take it in good faith, and I agree with you. When I say that Gambia is not moving forward, I put a caveat, a qualifier, perspective. And I've shown areas where we're not moving forward. But on the civic front, I believe Gambia is moving forward because the citizens are protecting the turf that they've gained in ridding a dictator out of their lives.
And I think that is what we need to encourage. The citizens' voice can no more be silenced in this country. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Straight Talk.
Good evening.
Can you turn down the volume of your radio, please, so that we could? Yes, it's affected.
I'm supporting Nyang Njie.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, sir. True. Thank you very much.
Gambia is not moving forward. Look at traffic. Look at the Bitikimbaga and Forget all along our main street. Yeah. Look at the drive from the airport coming to Sunchu Alaji and to Turntable. Is that a country where we were 25 years ago is better than where we are today? So it's all about perspective, and you have to put the perspective in.
And again, I don't think it is being too hard when you speak the way you speak. We say fast room down you know, but the thing is, no, I'm saying, yeah, but again where we are, I think we need a hard, straight talk to move forward as a nation. Because once we settle down for in mediocrity, then obviously we will go back to
I want to set a standard and live within a standard. And I believe the lives of my grandparents is better than my life today, quality of life. Why? Sanitation was good, education was good, healthcare was good, public administration was good, and those people were less literate than we are. You know what's the difference? Commitment and conscience, and dignity also.
And leadership.
Well, these three things make up good leadership. Commitment, conscience, and dignity.
Okay, we have another call. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Straight Talk.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I've been listening to you guys for the past few weeks.
Thank you very much. It's good to always hear the ladies call in.
Thank you, Mr. Nyang Njie.
Thank you. You're welcome, lady.
And thank you, Mr. John.
Yeah.
I just had a caller say that the Gambia is going forward. I believe the caller does not live in Gambia.
All right.
Apart from the corruption, apart from the issues that we are facing, in your subsequent appearances, can you talk about how dirty this country is?
Amen. Amen.
Rubbish everywhere. Everybody's high-tipping.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never ever been disappointed in Gambia like I am right now.
Wow.
To be frank, we expected it to be better. We expected value to be added to our lives. We expected so much more.
Sad.
But it's really, really sad.
Yeah.
It's disappointing to the core. And to be frank, I think we're governed by a bunch of fools, I can say. Even the kids in the street do not want to live in Gambia again. Where are we headed to?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The caller says, the lady says Gambia is not moving forward.
That should be our show next week. Is Gambia going forward?
Going forward, yeah.
Yes.
We will have to look at that. And we have to look at the thing you've always talked about, the perception of the public. How do we embrace the corrupt officials? If we begin to name and shame, possibly there could be, but we need to look at the public perception of corrupt.
Ma tay ak ñaka jom buñ juré dom ni rek la mëna mel.
Well, I think Mate and Nyaka Jom has good many doms in this country. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Straight Talk. Yes. Can you please turn down the volume of your radio? We are receiving feedback.
It's all right.
All right, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
I always follow the program.
Thank you very much.
This is one of the most important tools for me in that.
Thank you, sir.
I do not want to even get the name that show.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
This show I don't want to the Gambia. But the Gambia, one thing about Gambia, you know, they don't like critics. It's critics that develop the world. Other countries, they make panels, people give calls and criticize. They we disagree and agree.
True. Sure.
This development will come from there. But if you don't allow people to criticize, I mean, genuine criticism, genuine.
Yeah.
You are saying what the Gambia should do, and you are saying where the Gambia should get. It's to you people.
True.
But some just take it as a political party. We are going to play, going that way. No, this is not about politics. It's about national development, which I really support, and I always pray for you that keep saying what you say.
Thank you, sir.
I know you are Gambians that are highly oriented. You work because you more than anything.
Thank you, sir.
But when you speak and you say, you are working class in the Gambia.
Thank you.
You are here with us since the political part.
Thank you,
I
sir.
don't want to take much time because there are so many people coming.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate
I
it.
really appreciate this too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir. But Mr. Njie, you know, but also to the credit of a lot of public officials, I get a lot of calls and you meet people. Public officials are listening and possibly taking some correction. But I think also what the caller said, Gambians in positions of responsibility have a phobia or they're just against people even speaking sense, not criticism, but just people saying, could have been done this? There is this thing of being defensive.
There's an intolerant to divergent views.
Yeah.
But the problem is not individuals. It's the public administration culture of this country. The public administration culture of this country has done one thing. Our civil servants, the word civil is just not limited to it. They added servants, meaning they're serving the public.
Yeah.
And now they want to be our masters. But guess what? The Gambians also need to educate themselves to know that mbindan moy kuy bindu lan moy kuy bindu weer bu dee ñu fay la am not ne da ngaa liggéey ci kër rek de kuy bindu nit di la fay weer bu dee mbindaan la. We have glorified mbindaan. The president is a glorified mbindaan. But Gambians don't understand that. I, Nyang Njie, will never stand on any street since I know myself. Because when I was a kid, I will go out and wait for Jawara. The day my mind was liberated is the day I stopped that, and I will make sure that no kid that I know does that.
Yeah.
We should not make these people to be rulers. They are governors, and governors are given mandate by the people who voted and elected them, and we can kick them out as and when we want.
And this is why it is good for people to be aware that there is a reason for elections.
Our school is the problem because our curriculum don't empower the citizens by teaching them civics and the right of the citizen and the responsibility of citizenship.
Good evening, caller. Welcome to Straight Talk.
Hello?
Yes, welcome to Straight Talk.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
We are okay.
Very good. I am really entertaining your program.
Thank you, sir.
TikTok program.
Thank you.
I want to agree with Mr. Njie that, well, the country is not moving as we expected as Gambians.
Yeah.
Gambians voted for a change.
Yeah.
Not only change for leadership, but change in terms of development.
Yeah.
But when we speak the truth, when we are honest to ourselves, this is what we have in Gambia.
Yeah.
Right? And every Gambian is working so hard, paying tax as expected, doing everything as expected. Even, we take the speech for them. So when we vote for that change in terms of development, we need to see those things happening. But then, they become our friends when they are eager to get to that office. When they get to that office, the friendship is over.
Indeed.
I was shocked at the KMC's issue. I was really shocked when I looked at TV&MEDIA and I found out that the security has stopped KMC. Even without letting the media know what's happening. Is this actually what we fought for? I was having my breakfast when I was seeing when I lost appetite. I was like, this is the Gambia that I have been living in. It's sad, but this is the sad reality.
Thank you, sir.
There is nothing to massage in our language to speak the truth.
Indeed, sir. Indeed, sir. Thank you very much. That's why we have straight talk. We want to say it.
Degadal ken du ko solol mbuba.
Yeah.
Maslaha ci li yaha rew mi la bokka nafeha xam nga Gambia dañ ko wara wax te dañ ko wara wax te yalla tax. Rew mi li tax mu delu gannaaw. Selfishness. Maslaha. Añaan. Bugé. Lii buñ ko génnewul rek gannaaw rek la ñoo dem ñi Guinée Bissau bi nga xam ne sax ñooñu gënoon a dellu gannaaw tey ñooñu gën a dem kanam in terms of economic indicators. What a shame.
We have a call. Good evening, caller, and welcome to Straight Talk. Maaleykum salaam. Jaama rek.
Because of revenue collectors and license collectors, they will carry the society nationality. You only can see market feature. You retail tickets. Only not printing. The best thing now is the ticket catalog. Not letting their policy will give and they get a no tick. You like a civil case in a lot of fun. Not telling they will put it. Okay, now what is it? You don't want to do it. But if you swallow at 8 o'clock, but I'm 4 o'clock, you need to take it in your time to get now kind of package. After you test it, let's try again. When I like that, suppose. After you are going to take for 3,000 or 5,000 before 4 example. The other is one point smaller offer. The time to choose what to be dead topic.
Okay.
That's not right. What about you? So how do you do it? The book is to show me inside us. On the country. You know, inside us is happening. To that, not to make anybody in the motor or anything, especially if they talk. Now, that this conference is nothing, quite money original to be presentation or anything.
Okay. General caller, sometime we get them. I won't time, but I think the message is clear. But again, maybe this is why you're saying that if this is the case and there are allegations, maybe the whole institution should be
we need a thorough investigation, not limited to the scope of this. Why? Yeah. Because the perception, we need to allay the perception of the public.
This caller is now bringing in another dimension.
There's a lady called Charlotte Gomez. She said that Gambia is really moving. And what I will do, like I said, is all about perspective. In some areas on the civic front, like I said, we are moving because we're empowering ourselves. We're putting power where it belongs, we the people.
Okay. All right, caller, you have a few seconds. Can you just go to the point, please? Maaleykum salaam. Waaw. Well, that's the point, that there has been precedence, so maybe the perceptions may be different, but indeed. Is it your last word?
My last word is Gambia ready to be a country to be reckoned with in the neighborhood we live in called West Africa? I think the answer is no, because we lack leadership that's going to inspire us, we lack leadership that's going to lead by example, and we lack a citizenry that is aware of their rights to put demands and pressure on the people they put in office.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Njie. Gambia, all is not lost. Let's keep our civic duties, let's keep holding our public officials accountable. We could make some headway by putting pressure. It's election year, you have a choice who you want to be your president for the next 5 years, who you want to be in the National Assembly. The choice is ours. Let's keep hope alive. Gambia, all is not lost. We are going to... Yeah, we're going to move forward, and please, all of you there that have not taken the vaccine, please do what is right. You are encouraged to go. If you have your questions, ask the medical personnel. They will help you. Until we come your way next week, have a lovely evening. This is the Straight Talk team wishing you all the best. God bless you. God bless the Republic of the Gambia.